Hey, everybody. Hope everybody had a really great day and a good week last week. We are with Lisa this week, which we totally enjoy visiting with Lisa and all of the good words that she has to say. Romy is otherwise occupied, so it's just Lisa and I tonight. Um, and it's all yours, Lisa.
Well, first of all, hello, Colin, because I did turn on the Q&A and I see that you said hi. And I was asking Karina what we should talk about tonight because I've had one of those days. I think you can tell that by looking at me. I've been running around like a crazy person. And Romy said that we should talk about leadership. And leadership is probably one of my favorite topics. I think that's because we all think we know what it means until we stop and think about it and realize to talk about it. And leader simply means that people are following you somewhere. And you can be a good leader without demonstrating a lot of leadership. And I think that would be dictated by where are you leading people. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make with leadership is the understanding the difference between managing people and leading people, and also understanding situations in which you are managing people rather than leading them, where that is the role. Now, that's not here. We're in a business of independent contractors. Everybody is in their own business. Therefore, you're not the manager of anybody except yourself if you're going to be successful in this business. And there are those that would like for you to manage them because they've never had to manage themselves. So they would very much like to turn over their responsibility to you, to make you responsible for their success or failure, to have you think for them. There are so many people who feel that they need to be directed versus that they need direction. And that's really a distinction between management and leadership. Because when you manage people, you really do have to assign them tasks and follow up on them, and they report to you. And there's accountability with leadership as well, but it's more of a volunteer situation. You cannot force people to allow you to lead them. And you cannot declare yourself a leader and automatically that makes you one. If you're someone's manager at work, you can be horrifically awful at it and you still have power over them. But in a leadership role, people are following you because they've made a choice to do so. And they have the opportunity, the option to follow someone else or to stop following you at any given time. And when we are unsure of ourselves, which for me is about 94, 95% of the time, it becomes very easy to lapse into a management type of mode. And the number one way that you lead people is by example. And sometimes the example is showing people that you don't know everything. One of the first lessons in leadership that I learned that you might want to write down is that being successful in this business is not about standing up or getting on a stage and showing everybody how much you know. It's about being willing to get up on that stage and let people see how much you don't know and getting up there anyway. That's leadership, because that inspires other people to do the same. Because greatness comes from leaping and then perfecting. In a management situation, we always look for the person who is most competent. And we expect competency, and people are afraid that if they are not competent, that they are going to be fired. So everything is about management of risk and people being afraid to take risks and covering their butt and not standing out. And it's wonderful for maintaining the status quo and horrific for innovation. So leaders spark innovation, they spark creativity, they spark people to, according to one of my favorite shows, go where no one has gone before. I always say that I'm a Star Trekker. I think people in this space who are early adopters are Star Trekkers. You're doing what's never been done before in your sphere of influence. Now, Raj, it's going to do billions and billions of dollars in revenue this year. But still, when you get into a lot of niches and a lot of groups, it's might as well have started last week. And if you're the first one in your group, neighborhood, social circle, group of friends to do it, you are a Star Trekker. You're going where no one's gone before. And what you're doing is you're setting an example for others to follow. And how you set that example and the way in which you do it will dictate not only how many follow you, but the quality and commitment level and willingness to take a risk and leap out in front of those that do. Here's a quote by Peter Drucker that I've always loved, and it's that it says, management is doing things right, and leadership is doing the right things. And that really is the distinction between the two. Management is about getting a job done on time, done right, on budget, and all those things are certainly important. But leadership is about the pursuit of excellence. And the pursuit of excellence comes from doing the right thing and understanding that the road to success is paved with screw-ups. The road to greatness is paved with disasters. You know, I've taught this shell many times before, but I'll say it again because it bears repeating. If you want to have great success and lead by example, you have to give yourself and therefore your groups permission to fail. What holds most people back is they don't give themselves permission to fail. They enter in to this home-based business or any type of business for that matter with the belief that they have to meet a certain level or standard before they can go out and perform or go out and be successful. And here's reality. Nobody starts off good at anything. Even if you have a natural ability to something and you catch on quickly, there is a day when something is new that you approach it knowing absolutely nothing and you are not competent at it, although you may think you are. And you will be terrible when you start. And here's the path to excellence. Suck, 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 suck. You're okay. Mediocre, not even okay, mediocre. And eventually you will get better over time because repetition of a skill over time will make you better. That's common sense. That goes without saying. Thinking is also skill. And those that lead have to get very good, not just at doing, but at thinking. As a matter of fact, I think what separates great leaders in network marketing to the next level is in the beginning, when you get involved, you are just learning how to do. And that's really you learning how to do something, which again, the path is very simple. Understand you're going to be terrible when you start. And you're probably still, you're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it, being pretty terrible. And you'll do it the first time and suck. And guess what? The fifth time, you're still going to be terrible. Better than you were the first, but still terrible. The 10th time, you'll be better than you were the fifth. By the 25th time, you're going to be pretty good. Not great, but competent. You're going to get some good results, and you're on your way. But that's the mastery of a skill between you and you. You're managing yourself to learn something. Leadership is when you step up to a level where you're not doing nearly as much as helping others to do. Now it goes from doing to thinking. Great leaders don't spend a lot of time doing because they don't spend a lot of time doing that which is easily replaceable. And the most replaceable thing is something being done. If you look around at a lot of the things that we do on a daily basis that people give up, even things that they enjoy, it's because they can be replaced for somebody for $8 an hour, $10 an hour, $12 an hour. And when you become a great leader, your time is worth more than that. You can't afford to do those things because you're leading other people, helping a multitude to do it. And stepping from here to here to when you're reviewing, counseling, teaching, training, guiding, inspiring others is a whole different skill set and requires a because they see differently. A leader has the ability to see something no one else sees and to articulate the picture in such a way that a group of people will see it, embrace the vision, sign on, and to collectively, under that person's leadership, manifest it in reality. See that vision become a reality. And leaders don't look for followers. Leaders develop other leaders. Leaders build leadership factories. Because it doesn't take a lot of leaders to inspire a large group of people and create a movement that can span the globe. It takes a large group of managers to get things done. And therein lies the difference. One leader can lead a whole country. Every plant needs a manager. Every department needs a manager. Every company can be led usually by a handful of people are leading the company. But a fleet of managers are taking care of the day-to-day operations. There's no more important skill than leadership because most people don't have the vision, or they don't know how to articulate the vision, or they can't see the vision. And if you have the ability to see what others can't and to help others see it, you own the world, and you can change the world, and you can have anything that you want. So I think that the reason that Romy wanted me to talk to you about this is because she's a living example of that right now. She's out living her dream, and her dream is inspiring and going out and touching and helping others in ways I think she probably never imagined were possible when she started this. Because that's the interesting thing about leaders, is you'll find that the dream changes. Here's the most fascinating thing. It's true of me and a lot of people that I've interviewed. When you get started in business, but in this business in particular, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I would tell you this is wouldn't say this is true of everybody, but of most. When you first get started and you're sitting there in the back row of a meeting, and we all talk about how you need to be on the front row, but nobody starts in the front row. We all start at the back row near the door so we can get out, because we're not really in yet. You start at the back row and you're kind of hanging out back there, not sure if you want anybody, you don't want to be in with those people. We're not sure if they're crazy or not. We're checking it out. Very quickly, you realize that you have to end up on that stage. Now, your reasons and your feelings about that are different from person to person. Some people are petrified. They don't want to go on the stage. They don't want to be on the talk on a stage. They don't want it. Others believe they're born to be on the stage. But either way, everybody figures out pretty quickly that success involves being on that stage, and that all the people on it are successful, and that to be successful, you're going to end up there, and that's what you need to be shooting for. And you go from the back row to getting on the front row to hanging on every single word from that the people on the stage utter, because you want to get on the stage, because that means success. Those are the people making money, which in the beginning, we all tell people, get your why. Know what your why is. Write it down, feel it, taste it, touch it, embed it. And it's true, but it's also kind of abstract, because if I could pull out most people's list of things they wanted when they started in the very beginning, my own included, it's a list of things. Whether we all admit it or not, it's a new car, and it's a house, and it's things for our kids. They're not all for ourselves. But it really is, they say the best things in life money can't buy. But the list we all start out with when we get started in this business, everything on the list is something money can buy, I promise you. And when you talk to people that have gotten on the stage, they will tell you that that's true. They still will tell you, yeah, you want to get on the stage. Excuse me, I just dropped my, You want to get on the stage as quickly as you can. But what you realize when you get on it is you want to get off it even quicker and get other people on it. And that's something you don't realize when you first get started. And here's the other thing that's interesting. If you go back to all of the people, I just spoke at an event about 3 weeks ago here in Dallas, and I asked a lot of the other people that were speakers. Virtually everybody was there. It was the Association of Network Marketing Professionals. Every speaker that was there on their own dime, because it was an event industry. So everybody flew themselves in, paid to be there, their own hotels, and came to speak to support the industry. All top earners, most millionaires, all people that spend their lives on airplanes supporting people that are in their various companies around the space and around the world, exhausted. Finally have a weekend where they're not doing something for their company, all coming to Dallas on their own dime. And if you talk to them, they obviously don't need to be running around like lunatics the way that we all do anymore. They will tell you that, yes, you want to get on the stage and get off of it, as I said, but if you would look at their list today of the things they want, and what I wish I could tell everybody back, which I wish I had known before that I didn't, that I now know, is if you look at their bucket list today, the thing that's number one on the list is not even something we all thought about back when we were in the back row years ago. And I'm not telling you not to get cars and get the houses and buy all the things on your list. They're fun. And they'll make you feel excited for about 10 minutes. It's like an adrenaline rush. But the reason everybody keeps going and what's number one on everybody's list today is joy. It's the joy of being around people. It's the joy of impacting others' lives. It's the joy of seeing somebody's light bulb go on when they realize that they can have more, that they can become more, that they can have control of their destiny, that tomorrow can be different than yesterday was. And the one-way ticket to joy is giving, contribution, helping others, gratitude. There is no faster way to achieve joy in your life than going out and getting involved and helping others. And you can't, there's no better feeling. And I wish I had known that in the beginning, because it was very stressful thinking I had to learn all the things I really didn't have to learn anyway to get on that stage that 2 years. It was a lot of pressure I put on myself, all self-imposed. Nobody else was putting pressure on me. Everybody else was there to support me, but I didn't see it because I felt the pressure to perform. I felt that I wasn't doing well enough. I wasn't asking the right questions. And this whole circular story that I've just told you is because that is how you develop great leadership within yourself. Because a leader is simply someone that has a group that follows them. But gangs have leaders and bad groups have leaders, and saying I'm a leader doesn't necessarily mean anything. Great leadership comes from the questions you ask and the problems you choose to solve, or challenges you face in a given day, because whatever you are asking is what your mind will look to solve. Expand your thinking. Think bigger and you will have a bigger existence. You will impact more lives. You will get further. So if you are in whatever you came to this business to accomplish, stretch a little bit further. Let the periscope get a little bit wider. What's beyond the narrow focus of what's on your list that you can do? Because as you expand that picture, so your questions and thus the answers that you will get to your questions will accelerate your leadership ability and you will be able to impact others and develop leaders faster, and more people will follow you. And the ability to spread a movement is not how many sales you can make or how many people you personally can talk to. It's how many leaders you can have out in the field that are creating mini movements that are part of the larger movement, that are part of the largest movement that is circling the globe. Does all this make any kind of sense, Karina?
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, we've got a bunch of viewers here, and we've got the questions up. So if anybody's got any questions, we'll be happy to take them.
We have them up.
Okay, I guess we're good then.
I can see this in Romy because she is so good at seeing a vision and helping people to see it for themselves. It's incredible.
And it's funny, I found that in the beginning I wasn't, but I would just ask a lot of questions. I think I learned it from a therapist. I used to watch therapists on television, and it always amazed me because, they get paid so much money and you would watch. And by the way, I at points in my life, I've seen therapists and it really is like this. They ask you questions. "No, what do you think?" And then you'll talk. And I'll say, are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Have you looked at it from this point of view? I say, like, what am I paying you for? I'm doing all the work. And truthfully, that's great leadership because you can help people figure out where they need to be and get them on the right path just by asking questions and looking them in the eye and saying, a lot.
Well, and then it gets them to come to that realization themselves. And it's much better if they come to it in their own head versus you trying to tell them.
It's the only thing that ever works anyway. I mean, I gave birth to two children, and I think it was ordained by God that when I tell them something, they should listen, and they don't. So if they don't, who's going to? As a matter
Exactly.
of fact, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, Karina, but when my daughters were at 16, they would come home and stuff I had been telling them for years. They would tell me like they just discovered it 5 minutes ago. And I would say, where did you hear that? And they'd say, well, so-and-so said it, like a great authority who was their 16-year-old friend. Well, if so-and-so, the knowledgeable, wise 16-year-old down the street said so, then it must be true.
Ugh. Yes. Even though they've heard it how often from you.
Yes, but I'm just the dumb mother who's good for a drive, who drives. I'm the chauffeur, cook, and maid. I'm not the
Yes,
wise 16-year-old who lives down the street.
absolutely. It's amazing how that works.
So when is your next event?
As far as teaching,
Company, group, when's the next event, the impending event?
we have convention September 8th. Not, well, it starts September 8th with skydiving and things like that with the rock stars. And then convention. But in the meantime, we've got small um, they're tours that the company is doing throughout the country.
Okay, so I
So it
guess the
just
first
depends on.
question is, A, have you bought your ticket to the event in
Oh
September?
yes,
Not you. This is for everybody watching either live or on the follow-up replay. If not, obviously you must be at your event. Short of a really valid reason not to go, and you all know what they are, that qualifies, you have to go to the event. And if you're going to the event, you obviously want to have a team there with you. And so the first thing is, we get duplication, get yourself signed up, talk to everybody that's currently on your team. And if they're not going, help them see a bigger picture, because you're not going to fail if you don't go, but you will accelerate your success and the success of your team if you are at the event. And then determine how you're going to utilize all the events between now and that event, up to and including that event, you and your team and conference calls and things like this, to have as many people at the event as is possible. Because every person you have at your event on your team will translate into about $1,000 worth of income for you. It just always works out that way. Till you get, maybe it's more than that, until you get per month, I should say. So, and that's pretty much about true.
yes.
It's actually more. I'd have to check with Eric. I think it's $10,000 a year or something. Some crazy number, but it really does work out to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $1,000. You have 100 people at an event. It is like $1,000.
Yep. It's incredible to watch the difference. We did have somebody that was tracking that this last convention, and it was spot on.
I mean, it's just amazing. There's just something about an event, and you have and having an event at the end of the summer is very smart, because sometimes the summer is a lull period. When you're going into an event, it keeps people working toward the event, and it keeps the enthusiasm and excitement up. So you have a very smart company. You've got a great opportunity to
Yes.
really hit hard and carry on, and just get out and talk to people every single day and ask questions, and provide solutions. And
I really like that.
It's all we're in. We just solve problems. We solve problems. We help people with challenges. So,
Yep.
like I said, I had an insane day. I was at a lab all day, working on stuff. It was supposed to be for 2 hours, and it was all day. So I'm delighted to be here, but a little bit frazzled. So happy to help with any questions that you have, or anything else you'd like to cover, Karina. food for thought. I'm still waiting to see how y'all are doing with my TED Talk experiment. I've not gotten a lot of feedback, but I am hopeful.
There are a lot of people that end up watching this the next day for breakfast, or they have coffee in the morning and are able to tune in, because for some people it's pretty late at night.
Oh, no
But
problem. I know there's a lot of
yeah,
us watching on replay, but I just wanted an email if any of you have done it, letting me know what your results were, because you will find it is an eminently successful exercise to put yourself through. And it only takes anywhere from 9 to 18 minutes, depending on what videos you select.
uh-huh.
And good morning for those of you I'm having coffee with. I hope you're having a superbly wonderful day.
It's I know that there are people that are there. They're like, "We'll be there in the morning." It's good.
So anything else, Karina?
No, I really, really appreciated though.
My pleasure.
Appreciated this one. I was writing. I was doing my notes. So,
Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're live or on replay. I know your time is valuable. I love that you share some of it with us every week. And next week, I'm sure that Curtis will probably be here, or both
okay.
of us actually, because he'll be back in the States. And I think we probably will do it together. And I will make sure we plan
Oh,
something very,
nice.
very special.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
And thank you, darling, and have a wonderful evening.
You too.